Hi, I'm Dr. Hamill, and I'm going to be your teacher this semester for our Students in Special Needs course. I'm really excited about Module 1. Um, Module 1 is based on an idea that my co-author and I had about how to organize our thoughts about students with special needs. A lot of courses and a lot of books go through various disabilities. So there's one chapter for students with learning disabilities, and one chapter about autism, and one chapter about all the different disabilities. But what we found in our teaching is that students don't come into our classrooms with their labels sharpied on their foreheads. That students come in our classroom with behaviors and ways of life. So we decided to organize our book and our thinking about students with special needs around those types of behaviors. So we decided to use 5 domains. So there are 5 domains of learning. Communication is the first one, cognition, sensory needs, behavioral and emotional needs, and physical and medical needs. And what I found in my teaching is that when a student comes in the room, and when I have a student in my classroom, I can see those types of needs, whereas I cannot always see some of the specific types of disabilities. Of course, it's a great idea to have knowledge about all of the disabilities under the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act. To me, it's almost more important to know your students and to know what they need. So know their communication needs, how they prefer to communicate, perhaps what some challenges they have in that area, or if they have hyperacute communication, if they're very, very, very good at communicating in a certain way, it's important to know that. It's important to know about our students' cognition. So cognition is basically like RAM speed. It's how fast or slow your brain processes information. Now, it's important to know students who have very, very fast cognition and students who have very, very slow cognition, and how we can work with that. It's important to know our sensory needs of our students. And when we think of sensory needs, a lot of times we think about sight, sound, touch, all those things you learned in first grade. But also about proprioceptive and vestibular needs. So our bodies in space. So some students have difficulty knowing if their bodies are upside down or right side up or spinning around. And other kids have difficulty knowing how hard or how light a touch may be on them. So knowing the sensory needs of our students is really important, and looking at our classrooms and thinking, oh gosh, I wonder how that might affect my child, and maybe that's the reason I'm seeing certain behaviors. It's because of a sensory need. Behavioral and emotional needs are also critically important when we're trying to understand students with special needs. So some students have various emotional needs that we may not be aware of. However, as we're watching them in a classroom, we can begin to see that there are some differences and some things that we maybe need to address and get some help for that student. And then behavioral needs. And, when a student is struggling with behavior, to kind of know, I wonder why, and talking with other faculty members and seeing about behaviors in other areas to see, is it just in music or is it other places too? And then physical and medical needs. So it's important to understand a student's physical limitations or some of their physical prowess, right? What kids are really, really good at some physical things. And then medical needs as well. And medical needs can be temporary, or they can be permanent, really anything. So when we're talking about students and thinking about domains, we're really finding out more about them. We're learning as much as we can about our students and what they need. I think all of those are really, really important for us in our teaching, as well as knowing what special education really is. So understanding special education funding, which comes from real estate taxes, which can get really, really complicated. So, and also knowing, I'm looking at my notes, and also knowing about family challenges in students with disabilities. So when a family has a child with disabilities, how does that affect them? How does that affect their monetary situation? How does that affect their income? How does that affect their home and what they need to do, the changes they need to make in their home? What type of family history, genetics are involved in that or not, or just environment, stress, anxiety, everything that happens to a family when they have a child with a disability. And the last thing is thinking about unequal opportunity and students with special needs. So in some areas of the country, students with special needs still do not really have an equal opportunity to learn in the same types of classrooms with the same types of teachers and students as other students. So those are the things that I hope you get out of Module 1. As I said, I'm really super excited about it. It's one of my favorites. And I look forward to being your teacher this semester. So thank you.